Well, the battle lines between former chairpersons Stan Mathabatha and Dickson Masemola have been drawn as both are gunning for the top position. Voting is underway at the 10th elective conference in Polokwane. Despite assurances from convener Togo Didiza and the provincial leadership about credentials being cleaned up, the gathering stalled for several hours after delegates were asked to leave a plenary to verify their accreditation. Former provincial treasurer Danny Msiza could not accept nominations after having stepped aside when formally charged for allegedly having a hand in the looting of the VBS Mutual Bank. Now, Newzroom Afrika's Pelane Phakgadi is in Polokwane following the story. He joins us live now. Pelane, we know that nominations were concluded in the early hours of this morning. What can we expect from the remainder of the conference today?
Sekhukhune and Waterberg currently are going to be voting, and then they'll be followed by the Provincial Executive Committee members. Well, they are no longer members of the PEC really, but because they came in as PEC members, then they will then be allocated some time and space to vote. But currently we do know that, of course, it was dissolved yesterday. It was declared dissolved, so the provincial structure in itself is no longer here. So the conveners, the RECs are the ones who are currently having formal structures, and you've seen Paul Mashatile is also here to really come through and observe what is happening. Togo Didiza as a convener of conveners here, convener of deployees here in Limpopo. She's here and she's been monitoring the matter quite closely. So you've also noted that there's been nominations of Dickson Masemola, Soviet Lekganyane, and I think they're still behind me. I'm just going to ask Katero to come with me here. We do understand that around 1,135 voting delegates are allowed here inside here today. So that is the number of votes that will be cast. Whether some of them will be spoiled, I'm sure it will be depending on what is the outcome of that particular voting station. But I'm seeing Soviet Lekganyane here getting some warmth of the sun. You have not slept at all. You are for 2 days. The former secretary of the African National Congress here in Limpopo. You were dissolved yesterday. So now let's now talk about today. Here, of course, they have voted. You are one of the nominees. Are you confident that the ongoing voting here will come through to be in your support?
The delegates themselves are confident. Remember, they are the ones who said we must contest for these positions. And when the nominations from branches were to be announced, I had a chat with some of those that were around to say, in the event our names make it to the ballot, what do we do? Then they said, you must say yes. And that is basically why when the elections agency wanted to know if we are still available, we said yes, we are available for election, because the people who have done the nominations are here with us, and they say no, the race must be completed. It's not about entering the race, it's about completing it.
You've been racing, of course. Let me bring in the former deputy chairperson of the ANC here in Limpopo. Of course, now he was a PEC member until its dissolution last night. I'm sure now, comrades, yourself, around your own comrades, you're calling yourself ANC members in good standing, because, but of course, the dissolution coming through yesterday, you are contesting the chairpersonship. Are you feeling confident as well? I'm hearing on your very same lobby group, the secretariat, the Soviet Lekganyane, saying the delegates are.
Well, we are here at conference. In the next coming few minutes, voting will be completed. We will also be going to vote as members of the PEC then, but with voting rights at this conference. Like I said in the past few days, that I'm looking forward to close this conference. And I think I still believe in that statement. Delegates all over this conference, as they have been going around since last night till this morning, they are very clear and certain that they are going to make it possible for us to emerge. And I'm quite sure that the level of confidence that they have demonstrated, not only now, but throughout the process, including even during the nominations. You might have heard early this morning, when results of nominations were actually announced. It shocked many people who never thought that we would reach that level of positive achievements in terms of this particular process. So where we are now, we're just waiting for the process to conclude, and most probably during the course of the day we get the results and take it forward from there.
Dickson Masemola there, of course, is the candidate for the chairpersonship of the African National Congress here in Limpopo. And of course, earlier on, or should I say, either late towards last night and the early hours of the morning, the then provincial chairperson, of course, now currently, of course, just an ANC member as well. And I think we need to emphasize that because the PEC has been dissolved on its entirety. Stan Mathabatha saying that there's a lot of work that still has to go into the African National Congress, especially beyond this particular conference, in order for it to rebuild itself and unite itself. He was speaking here during his political political speech, just giving an organizational view, of course, and about the overarching challenges and successes that they've had over the last 4 years.